Greetings everyone, here's Lodrik out of Hong Kong airport. It's very special. This is a play by email match against KilRoy in the game War in the Pacific Admirals Edition. Scenario 1, one day turn setup. For me it's Empire of Japan and KilRoy is commander of the Allied forces. Today we will check this 9th December 1941 and see if my operations in Malaya and Philippines are interrupted by his speedboat, patrol boat, torpedo boats, small craft, whatever he has there. We'll see. Last time we saw a heavy air strike from KilRoy trying to damage and sink some of my invasion fleets, but more or less failed with this attempt. But his small craft ships was able to sink 2 of my support destroyers. Here I have now some this is near to Palm Bay. I more or less block this entry and exit of Palm Bay port with 2 of my submarines, and I can find here a local mine layer. Not the most important ship, but it is something. And I also have a destroyer minesweeper. Just last turn I lost 2 of these ships because I saw that KilRoy mined my beachhead, so I had to react for this. Here we can find a source east of Singapore 1 AVP. Also torpedo hit, nice. More sinking sounds, so I think Manila port have still damage burning ships going down. So more ships going down. And KilRoy was very aggressive with British cruisers here. He make a bombardment of my amphibious assault just finished, so I was just able to unload my troops, and then he used his British detachment to bombard me here. Luckily it is night and not very effective. So, still more landing. I open the next beachhead. This is San Fernando. It's the most northern base belonging still to the railroad to Manila. So you can see there's a railroad going south to Manila. So later for logistic reasons, more important. Now at the beginning doesn't matter. Small losses in the landings. Those will make a strike on Marquis. But no Navy engagements this night. And more. And light losses for both sides. I mean, patrol boats and minesweepers, they have no guns, can really do anything. More sweeping of mines. Here is a support ship at the west coast, but my submarine failed. Only 2 torpedoes is maybe a little 2 less. But on the other side of the map we can find the northeast of Palmbank still this entry-exit area on Tinker. Here's one of my light cargo ships. I think this was damaged and I give it the order to return to Taiwan, Formosa. Without any escort, it's only light cargo ship. And this gets picked up by one of the few American submarines survived my Manila port strike. Yeah. So I lose one small cargo ship. One more tanker. So these are all tankers. KilRoy may be sent immediately to Palmbank, loading with fuel and try to escape. I was not able to hit them its first turn or second turn, but now they are full with fuel and trying to escape. So I cannot save the fuel, but he cannot use the fuel. He's trying to, run to Australia maybe. So we have a lot of shipping here in the Strait of Malacca. And I bring forward my Nell and Betty bombers already to my front bases, so I can use my Navy bombers for scouting, scout strike missions. The problem is I have of course no air HQ for this, so I can really only use bombs and no torpedoes. But at least I can scout them and see where they are. And you can see many task forces running source direction Java. So alert detection from allied side, but also from my own. Now, if the weather is not so terrible, then you maybe also see some airstrikes. But the weather is very shitty. You can see. I don't even can find more the targets as got before. Some sweep over Clarkfield, but no enemy cap fighter. These are still operations out of Taiwan. So this is long range, or at least still normal range sweeps, but with drop tanks. And I find they use them. The heavy cruiser formation is here, the southeast of Mindanao, Davao, but my Navy bombers are not able to land a hit. Again, I have only bombs. I cannot run torpedoes out of Davao. Still using more or less every airplane I have to strike. Later on I will maybe call back this support bombers. focus on more training. But now in the opening days of the war, maybe whatever you have, throw it on the enemy. There's really hard anything in China from the Japanese Air Force at the beginning. I must transfer everything from Japan or from Machuku. But you can see the first Ki-21s arriving here. Everywhere a little. And here maybe a little more, but slightly. I also have only 30 kilogram bombs. At least 4 of them. But Ki-21 is normally so far still the best bomber the Japanese army have. 1 ton bomb load, 250 kilogram bombs. This is normally the best size. It never gets better. Helen have exactly the same bomb load. So you will never get anything like a B-17 or Lancaster. And the more modern but and faster Ki-48 only have 100 kilogram bombs. So this is one of my support carrier forces, so maybe you can call it the third carrier force I have created. I have more or less 1 main carrier force and 2 support carrier forces so far. I'm still at the reorganization, and I can get here at least one torpedo in a Oama class cruiser. And there's also the Boise, so the Houston, the Boise, all the American cruisers are here, southeast of Minden. I think they're trying to intercept my invasion fleets. Luckily, my invasion convoys all avoided the contact. And now I have the opportunity maybe to take out 1, 2 or maybe up to 3 cruisers. So the Houston also get and with deck armor penetration. The second bomber is no. Okay, the third bomber also can penetrate. So 3 bomb hits, but only 2 are counting. Unlucky me, my torpedo bombers want to attack destroyers and not cruisers. So the Bullmark also get a bomb hit. Okay, so not a total overkill, but you can see that the De Ruyter is lightly damaged. We have a 1 American light cruiser is heavily damaged or maybe crippled, but at least heavy damage and on fire. So And the Houston and the Bulmer both are on heavy fire. So if they don't find a port to get rid of the fire, they will maybe slowly have more and more system damage. Most important is I break up this formation. So before, this was a dangerous formation. It's strong enough to really kill every task force I had in this area. But now I think it's very unlikely that KilRoy will still push forward. He will maybe try to escape back to Java or Australia. So more sinking sounds. Picking up more cargo ships here, or APs. But the sheer amount of task forces make it maybe a little hard for my Air Force to sink them all. Catalina is dead. This is also never wrong. At least if you play the Japanese. But the weather. Always grounded my Air Force. Now my Naval bombers trying to attack these cruisers. They just bombard me. But the British are too skillful to avoiding this. I come in 7,000 feet, this is standard altitude, I would say. Of course you have more chance if you go to 5,000 or even 2,000. But British flag is very strong, so if I go too low, I risk to losing here more airplanes against or via flag damage. Here, out of this base, I have already air HQ. I bring it, I think, the first day already to Malaya. So, from this base, I can operate Betty bombers with torpedo. A little overkill for a cargo ship, of course, here. So, it's sinking. 2 cargo ships. Naja. Every ship I can sink now, I do must handle later. Next try. The Boise is still here. The Houston is burning. The Reuter is still... Looks like the Reuter already finished the fire. But we have some ammunition flooding. Good. So the Houston was on fire and it was critical, so the commander had to more or less flood the magazine, so I think there's less ammunition left for the Houston now, if there's a surface engagement in the next days. These are Naval bombers out of Taiwan, have no target. So they are taking land forces. These are my army bombers operating out of Saigon in South Vietnam. I still don't relocate them. I have no airbase ready for them. I just took Kota Boku and Kuantan, so I must first repair the airbases in 1 or 2 days. Then I can maybe transfer them. outside is a small cargo ship, but I also failed to find the target. I mean, to sink it at least. Second strike. This was the AP we had before, I think 2 or 3 messages that we make a search scout hit already. And the ship was so damaged that only 1 torpedo is enough to sink it. This is only a small AP, not so important. Good. At least no setback, but also compared to the turn before, much less air activity. No dogfight at all. More sinking, more unloading. So, after I conquer Miri, I go immediately to Brunei. There's also a small, I think, British garrison, but more base force only normally. Nothing really can stop me. So, after I took Kuantan and my tanks I sent them immediately after this British Malayan forces, and they can also, they don't give any, well, they waste no time, so the Allied forces are already retreating, and now they cannot re-establish a defensive position, so I kick them out to the next base. At least I think 2 are running, but 1 is still in hex maybe. So there was 3 units. This is west of Wushang. This is this Chinese corps, and I go in with 3 divisions. This is normally easy victory. Only light losses for me, and you can see that the Chinese suffer heavily. Here we had last turn a battle, and I think the army group was the only unit that was not retreating, so now they are destroyed. So this HQ, I think it's important to kill enemy HQs, because the HQs are really important to support the fighting forces. I mean, same for me. Yeah, they give the ability for the Chinese units to reactivate their disabled units. Northeast or northwest of Kaifeng. This is important because this hex belongs also to the Chinese. You can see a yellow dot. So, and Kaifeng is more or less isolated. There's no direct support line of the railway. I need to open this railway and normally also this railway. Let's go to Shanghai to get units inside and supply flow. So also successful, but I must say I was successful in kicking out the Chinese and conquer the hex. But I must say I lost nearly nothing gets destroyed, but I have 120 disabled units. So this will maybe force me to take 1 or 2 units out of the front line and send them to Shanghai or Mukden to rest and repair. So nothing is perfect. It was an HQ, but this is retreating, so not destroyed today. And this is a little more tough. At the end, I mean, it's only a waste of time. I was not able to win here the battle, so the losses are both light for both. I mean, KilRoy lost nearly nothing, I lost nothing, but I lost time. It's a race against the time. These are the Philippine units, and remember that at the beginning of the campaign, the Philippine units, they suffer heavily under low morale. But this is a bombardment, so normally the attack value is not so bad for the Philippine units and the equipment, but they have so low morale that you can simply wipe them out and force them to run away. Don't ask me why. Normally here is the war hero of MacArthur in charge. Maybe he did something wrong. And this is KilRoy, I think, sent his Chinese corps around the Canton, on Canton. I think only to force me to keep more defense forces in Canton, and that I cannot throw everything on Hong Kong. But it's forced him to cross the river. He make a shock attack, and so you can see that he suffer. Let's say this. But I believe that these attacks really are more or less. The main purpose is keep pressure on me and try to maybe save Hong Kong some days. Yeah, to keep Hong Kong longer. Save Hong Kong 2-3 days long. That maybe he can get more units out or more resources or whatever he want save in Hong Kong. And Makin is shock attack because it's a atoll. So remember, every island is an atoll. So it means the stacking limit is 6,000. Then you always have automatically a shock attack. This is the rule. Good, and the Chinese units, they retreating automatically because the shock attack failed, and then they running. So they enter the hex and get immediately kicked out. So this is the end of the turn. And here we are at the 10th December 41. First let's check best intelligence report, if there was anything in the air war. But light losses for both sides. Nothing really critical happened. Nearly everything is ops losses, you can see here. I only kill one of Catalina air-to-air with my cap fighters. Combat air patrol, and all others is simply only written off airframes. Out of my 5 lost airframes, I have 2 wounded pilots and 1 killed pilot. Okay, landing accident or something like this. Ships lost today. For me, my small cargo ships, 3 point nothing. Reported we sunk the light cruiser, so the Omar class. This is this interwar cruisers. They are not very powerful. You can see 7,000 tons, more like a British design, you can see. But they are fast, and they can sink every cargo ship and every destroyer normally easily. And the rest is cargo stuff, nothing important here normally. But I believe there more was going down. So many sinking sounds, all from Malaya. So maybe in the next coming 2-3 weeks I get additional reports about some ships sunk for the Allies. Now I have also official army lost points, 2 against 308. So the kill ratio is 150 to 1. That is of course perfect. Good. Not much more. It's still too early to have really a big change of the situation. I was able to defend Canton, and at the same time I drive my forces on Hong Kong. I focus on taking Hong Kong. It's nearly impossible to really lose Canton if you keep at least the minimum defense forces, and it will maybe. If you don't have enough experience, you maybe change your mind, but at least I played often enough to realize that Kanton will not fail so far or fall so fast. The rest is cleaning up operations. Some are more successful, some are less successful. You can see this is victory, victory, victory. Here is no inclusive. Here there was a victory, but with high price for me. One of the units I think is burned out completely. So you can see 64. This one is over 50% disabled. This at least I must send back to Shanghai or Mukden. This is only I think I had no part in the battle. And this one is also damaged. Yeah. And the rest is moving. So no big change here. Malaya, we had here one battle, so 2 of the British Malayan English forces escaped, but 1 unit is still holding me. Cost me again 1 more turn. I cannot drive directly to the. I would normally block here I block and conquer this station because this is on the railway. So not perfect, but also no failure, I would say. My submarines are blocking here all the movement to the source because I have normally my Navy Naval bombers here in the north. So here is the air HQ already, and I have here Navy bombers. Only consumed all my torpedoes last turn. So that I hope normally that nothing can escape to the north and nothing can escape to the source. So every ship is here now still is trapped or have a very high risk to get sunk. Also keep in mind that my carrier force is still here in Kuantan on purely cap duty, but sooner or later I will normally release this carrier force and also go for cargo hunting. Landing in Brunei, this is the forces from Miri. I simply take them and go to the next base. Here, source of Davao, we can see cargo ships, or I mean, most are cargo ships, would say, cargo or tankers. I try to get my submarine here in a blockade position. I mine also Tarakan, and this is maybe the cruiser formation. You can see warships at least, and 1 other combat unit. So maybe the game splits these forces because some are damaged, and normally every damaged ship get 1 support ship. So I think here these are the 3 damaged ships. They're getting 3 support ships, and this is the rest of the task force. So all destroyers, cruisers, everything what KilRoy was able to find, he bunched together, and maybe he tried to escape here, or he tried to find my cargo ships going from Palau Islands to Mindanao. And if he had success, it would of course cost headache to me. But luckily nothing happened. Here's a big amount of ships still running around, and I make here a special task force. After the disaster from last turn, I create here a light cruiser destroyer task force to be on duty. And this is a destroyer mines tree, but there was some mines. Now they're already all. There were not too many mines, but I get rid of them because I don't want 1 in mines. This is at the end, the mine is powerful like a torpedo. No big difference. More reinforcements are coming. You can see I landed here additional 400 attack value. So I have here now 400, here 900, and tanks are already it's a front line and trying to block the movement of this Filipino division. So if I'm able, I can maybe finish off 1 or 2 Filipino divisions before they're able to return to or retreat to Clarkfield. No more activity, I would say. And I have to catch my flight to Zurich. So see you next time. Take care. Bye.